Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways. Bitcoin at about 26,000, Ethereum coming down to about 1655. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are pretty much waiting for Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, guys, there are some altcoins that are looking a little bit more volatile than usual, such as HBAR and Matic and Toncoin and a few more. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that has been dipping, and of course, the sentiment is bullish. However, guys, the question is, should we be buying the dip? And that project is called Dimitra. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, all we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate that strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. It's a great community, lots of good alpha being talked about and posted on a daily basis, good trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's get right into it. If you have any projects, guys, feel free to let me know on the socials. Of course, hit me up on the socials in the comment section. I cover projects on a daily basis, and even on the live stream, we're looking for opportunities here, guys. In the bear market, that's really what you should be doing. You know, you should be looking for opportunities. You should be looking for new narratives, looking for new projects that are coming into the space to be competitors to these larger cap altcoins, such as, you know, of course, Ethereum is always being, looked at as a competitor. A lot of good altcoins are coming out considering, that they want to be an Ethereum competitor. Even a Bitcoin competitor is very, is needed. At the end of the day, it's a very healthy market to have healthy competition. And this is what we're seeing now in a bear market. A lot of projects coming out, but of course, as those projects are coming out, we need to do our fundamental research, guys. We need to do those deep dives. We need to be fundamentally bullish so that we scale in. If there's no price action, how else are you going to get an edge on this market without fundamentals? So with that being said, guys, I do cover a lot of projects, and I also do deep dives on many of the projects that are, hot topics. For example, Octaspace, Teraxa. I've done deep dives. If you look at my playlist, if you go right here in the playlist section, I do have a deep dive playlist right here, and you can check out that I do have a ton of playlists that you can take a look at. There's a few there, and I'm releasing new ones every Sunday, so feel free to check that out. And if you do have any that you're interested in me covering in future videos, on the Discord there is a channel where you can make those requests. All right, guys, let's get right into this. Let's kind of see what's happening here with the market. Of course, the market is going sideways, and that's why I'm very adamant about taking this opportunity to do that research and basically educate yourself about these new topics. And there are some OG projects, of course, like Cardano's, Polkadot, Polygon, a lot of OG projects still hanging around here at the large caps, right? But I'm expecting during the bull run to see a lot of mid caps, even micro caps, low cap altcoins try to catch up as competitors. And guys, that's where the life-changing gains can be made, right? But of course, there's risk, and we try to mitigate that risk by buying low and of course selling high and getting fundamentally bullish. And right now, honestly, there's no real clear indication to me that we are in a bull run. In fact, I feel like we're in a very clear transitory phase, going from a bear market into a bull market. Now, yeah, we got some bullish momentum to the upside in the last little while, and it could be definitely a nice little rally up, a relief rally, whatever you want to call it, dead cat bounce, a bear market rally, whatever it is. A little bit of a response from the bulls after a huge dip is absolutely normal. No matter what you want to call it, it's absolutely normal. Now, the question is that when are we going to get the response from the bears to confirm that they are done? Big picture, okay? We're going to look at Bitcoin to see exactly what's happening here, of course, and then we'll look into the coin for today, which, of course, a lot of people are talking about Dimitra. Dimitra is a very, very interesting project. Its narrative is very interesting, but it has retraced, and it's at a very potentially at a good area to start DCing, and that's why I chose that project today. But if Bitcoin is showing us negativity, and if Bitcoin is showing us a continuation to the downside, we can expect a lot of these altcoins, all of these altcoins, in fact, to come down to lower levels, including Dimitra. So that's why I use Bitcoin as a leading indicator to tell me more or less what the overall market is doing. We see optimism getting a bit of strength, but overall, although it looks green, it's only up 2.9% in the 7 days, and in the last 24 hours it's pretty much stagnant, not doing too much. But it's very healthy to see a project do this while the rest of the market is coming down approximately 2 to 5%, give or take, depending on the project. So overall, optimism is showing strength, but at least it's going sideways with a slight bias to the upside. So for me, that's really healthy. And if you keep on going down, we also have Caspa doing a very similar thing, planking sideways after a deep retracement. However, guys, I do feel that going against the trend, whether you are getting into one altcoin or many altcoins, going against the trend of the market is a bit risky. We do see that the market is looking stagnant and perhaps even weak and potentially coming down to lower levels. On what basis are you thinking that an individual project or two may go against that trend? Guys, for me, that's a bit risky. So if you're going to go long on any projects in the next little while, be prepared to get in and get out and protect your capital, because I believe that ultimately the market will win and Bitcoin will win. If Bitcoin takes a dip, you'll see that optimism and even Caspa will come down to those lower levels once again, despite the bullishness that is existing right now for especially Caspa and some other projects that are really bullish in the last little while. Okay, so just came to my attention that Caspa's ranked 45 with regards to market cap. Okay, a lot of people are bullish on Caspa. It's right now at a $850 million market cap, and for me, it's starting to look like a larger cap altcoin. Okay, it came out of nowhere, of course. It did very well, and where are we getting to? Like, if we start competing with larger caps, let's say we get to even Cardano's level, right? We're at of course, a very high $9 billion market cap. So there's still some growth there, maybe a nice 10x, if anything. But be careful here, guys, because there are decent projects that are mid cap, lower cap projects that do give you that volatility to make some more gains here, guys. So I'm bullish on Caspa. I'm not trying to say I'm not, but I'm just saying a good diverse portfolio does include lower cap altcoins. And of course, we start researching those during a bear market. That's a very healthy time to do that. Radix is another one that I'm interested in. It did retrace significantly. It's been holding support for a while now. You can see that on that little graph that you see here. It's holding sideways and it's been holding pretty strong. And of course, it came down. Price came down. Market cap came down. As basically along with the entire crypto space, market cap has been coming down. So that's totally normal. Now let's see what Radix can do as far as a comeback, right? As far as a bounce, it did rally up early on in this rally. It did rally up. One of the first ones to rally was Radix, and it did very well. Now, as a retracement back to almost to the previous breakout, it could be a good accumulation. So I'm going to take a look at Radix in tonight's live stream. I'm going to put it on the list, guys. If you have any projects that you want me to cover in tonight's live stream, feel free to hit me up on the socials, or you know what, the best thing to do is join live at 7:30 Eastern. We talk about crypto news and price action, and that's a great time to get into a community where we can analyze charts and talk about crypto. All right, let's continue. Sideways. Thorchain coming down, of course. I told you about that confirmation high, a lower high. We pretty much got that. The bears are loving it on the lower time frames. You can see, it is up 7% in 7 days, which is still great, but you got to look at structure. Structure, although it's up in 7 days, the reality is it created right now a lower high. Lower high, lower lows, lower high, lower lows is a trend to the downside. So be very careful here. I feel like, maybe getting into a short maybe is, the time is done, because we're pretty much reaching the bottom of the range on Thorchain Rune. But if you've been following me on the channel, I did cover Thor, and I did cover saying that it looks frothy and you should be taking profits. Guys, if you've been doing that, I think you've done the right thing here, because it looks like Thorchain might be coming down for a bit of a dip in the next little while. Of course, accelerating that dip if Bitcoin does come down. Okay, we're going to keep Bitcoin in mind. Of course, Bitcoin could suck a lot of liquidity out of the market and induce tons of bearishness. And of course, there's tons of layers of bearishness throughout bear markets. Now we have BNB, Vitalik, selling a bit of Ethereum. He's just paying some bills, guys. It's only $1 million. Take it easy. At the end of the day, we have to be able to filter out the FUD, filter out the noise, and just be real with what's happening in the market. Overall, traditional markets, are a little bit wonky, fine, showing some strength sometimes. but their overall sentiment here is risk off, more or less, right? So we got to wait for a few signals before we get absolutely bullish. And of course, I'm DCing at the bottom of the range. All right, guys. So my consensus here for the general market is that we're still going sideways with a slight bias to the downside, despite a few projects still looking strong, like Optimism and Cash Buzz, still looking okay. Not even that strong. They're just going sideways. But generally speaking here, guys, in my opinion, be careful. Be careful with your longs. If you're going to go long on short-term time frames, get in and get out. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. What is going on here with Bitcoin? Of course, Bitcoin at this level is pretty much hesitant. There's no real indication that these bears are done. Right now, the bears could be looking for a continuation to the downside, right? They could be continuing for the next little while, but we don't know exactly what is going to be happening here because, after this consolidation, we can see that we have reached a bottom, a previous low, and we do have this confirmation at the top of the volume gap that could act as support going forward. So the question is, are we going to scale in absolutely heavy here, or are we going to basically be careful, DCA at lower levels? Because I believe that at the end of the day, it is the optimal time to DCA when we see red days, but we don't know if the red days are over. That's my biggest issue right now, is are the red days over? So I always talk about risk management, that here on the channel, that for me, that's a big part of trading, and you should be aware that generally speaking is an important concept, right? Risk management basically keeps your initial investment, your initial capital intact, so that way, basically, if there is any volatility, you do have some dry powder ready to go to deploy at lower levels. Now, Bitcoin, as a leading indicator, if you're new to crypto, you know that if Bitcoin comes down, it will suck the liquidity out of the entire market. The whole market will sell off because it's risky. There's a lot of FUD, there's a lot of negativity. But at the end of the day, guys, what are we doing here with Bitcoin? Let's take a look at what's happening with Bitcoin. I do feel that I need to shift my stance. I need to really shift my stance here from a sell-off stance to starting to get into a slightly bullish stance where I want to start buying, right? Now, it's very early. I still have some time, right? We might even still come back up and give ourselves another opportunity to basically to take more profits and go short, right? We might be able to come back to range highs. And part of my thesis is that if Bitcoin does go range out here for the next little while within this level, it could be possible that we're going to give altcoins their opportunity to rally up and get that altcoin season, right? So on the daily, we have very oversold conditions. It's very clear. And on the 4 hour, it looks like we're gearing up for a nice pump to the upside, given the fact that we've been getting Class B bullish divergence here at the bottom of the range. Now you can see that the MACD is starting to lose its strength a little bit. There's no real indication here just yet, but a little bit of an indication where you see some pale green histogram bars. Honestly, those are not real confirmations. You got to wait for an EMA cross at least, and that will give us a little bit more of that confirmation. So in the meantime, let's be very patient, but let's keep in mind that at the end of the day, a backtest of this momentum, even though it is a higher low, might be absolutely great to see. And even if the price comes down for another low and the RSI goes for a higher low, that's Class A bullish divergence right at this level of horizontal support. So for me, that would be an absolute great time to start entering a long position, whether it be short-term spot, long-term spots, whatever it is. Even a leveraged long with a clear stop loss at lower levels, at previous lows would be great, because it's all about risk to reward ratio. If you enter your stop loss at, a very clear invalidation point, it's a calculated risk and you're totally fine. And imagine if Bitcoin can get back to range highs. You did pretty good at buying bottoms and taking profits at range highs once again. But Bitcoin right now, for me personally, I'm not interested. I feel like the volatility is going to go stagnant for a bit. I feel like this could go range bound for a little while and get into a distribution phasing. That's where most people get wrecked. And the reason being is that Bitcoin already came up 100% from its bottom. And the likelihood is for altcoins to have that room to actually go up, because a lot of the altcoins are still at the bottom of the range and not even moving. If you look at the larger cap altcoins, they barely moved from their bottom. A lot of them are still at the last line of support, double bottoming, maybe even creating a lower low, and they're desperately looking for that bounce to the upside to catch up to Bitcoin. So for me, there's a lot more potential there for growth to the upside rather than looking at Bitcoin or even taking the risk on shorting Bitcoin right now. For me, I'd rather look at altcoins. With that being said, guys, let's take a look at these alts. Let's take a look at Dimitra. What is happening here with Dimitra? We've been talking about Dimitra for a while now. I took a bit of a break because, of course, you need to step away from a chart once in a while. You need to step away and let it do its thing, because then, you become impatient. The emotions start kicking in. Let's get in the daily for a second. The daily time frame, of course, is looking a little bearish. You got to admit, the bearishness with this daily time frame suggests that, we could be coming down to lower levels. Now, we did identify a great take profit right here. Like, it was absolutely perfect. And I did mention, guys, we don't know 100% what could happen here. We could get a bounce and come up for another test and test liquidity, at higher levels. And that's why I plotted these in here, these red arrows, just in case arrows at extension levels if the market decides to come up and test for liquidity. And basic liquidity grabs, fake outs and all that kind of stuff does happen all the time. But what really got me going was this right here, this bearish divergence in extreme overbought conditions. This for me was a time to actually say, let me kind of take a step back here. Let me take a step back. Let me see exactly what's happening, because at the end of the day, what we are noticing is as the price action was going up, the momentum was actually shifting to the downside. And for me, that's a big negative, right? I'm not looking for a momentum shift right here. Bearish divergence. Then we got a little bit of a bounce here, which really was a weak attempt, a very weak attempt, and it kind of coincided with the previous high, basically the shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we produced a nice horizontal level of support, which was pretty much in the zone, right? And it wasn't very clear. You got to be honest. When you get these wicks, they kind of make your invalidations a little bit vague, but this is why I like using the VPVR, because the VPVR lets me know if there's actual volume in these wicks. And of course, there's not much volume, and that's why I like this. I like this horizontal where I had this green arrow. This green arrow for me was an opportunity to potentially buy the dip. Okay, potentially. And I want to be very clear here, because if you're going to look at my other charts and you're going to be watching my videos, there's a reason for my madness. And my madness for these green arrows is as such. I do not buy green arrows unless the momentum actually fully resets. So these arrows were put in just hypothetically speaking. If the momentum on the daily did reset and we are here at the green arrow, that would be a healthy buy the dip. Now, you can see that we didn't get oversold for a while. In fact, we just enter oversold conditions as we are here right now, pretty much. So what that means is that these buy orders should not have triggered, and you should not have bought the dips here because the momentum did not fully reset. Those are my conditions, guys. Obviously, every strategy is different. I'm a momentum trader. I like looking for momentum shifts, and I also like looking for levels of horizontal support to give me that momentum shift idea that it could be hitting a level of resistance or support, but at the same time looking for the momentum shift by using divergence. Right, so that for me is an indication. We keep on falling down, right, and we fell through the horizontal, and finally we got into that oversold condition. Now, where are we? We can see that we do have a little bit of horizontal here, and it's not significant, but it is there. We do, if you can see the VPVR, and we start excluding some previous price action, we can see that we pretty much pick up a little bit of supply at about 1.3 cents, give or take. Now, if we include more price action into this VPVR, you can see that we did a nice slow grind to the downside without much horizontal support. And if you look at the VPVR, you can see that the beginning of some horizontal support with regards to supply and demand begins at about 1 cent, basically 0.018. Okay, so this is the zone. Now you can see that we do have price action right on this little consolidation that could act as support. We have a bit of a snippet of consolidation here, and you can see the VPVR kind of does register a bit of volume there. So this is why I had a volume gap right in here. Okay, just to keep ourselves in check. Now I'm going to reuse these because they're valid. There's no sense of buying the dip here when the momentum hasn't fully reset. Now we can potentially get into lower time frames, and I'm going to do that in a second. So let's kind of put that here and get rid of this. And now I don't know where we're going to go, how low we're going to go. So let's remove this. For now, I want to keep this in mind. I definitely want to keep this in mind, because the last area that I really don't want to consider getting down to see the Dimitra down at lower levels, guys, you can see like even the VPVR goes nuts at this level, right? Just right around here. And I'm gonna let it ride. Let it see what happens. Let's get into the 4-hour time frame to actually see what the Dimitra could be painting in the short term. Because if we get close to here and we see the daily oversold, we see the MACD potentially looking for an EMA cross. How's the MACD doing right now? EMA is facing down, red histogram bars to the downside. No sign of bullishness just yet. So that's why we got to be patient here. This is the time. This is the magic. This is where we should start looking for entries. Now, if you look at the 4-hour, we are definitely oversold. So oversold on the daily, oversold on the 4-hour, and we are very close to some good levels of horizontal support. So what we should be doing now is started looking into DCAing and buying the dip upon levels of confirmation. Now, confirmations could be, breaking back into this channel. For me, that's an important one. Let me make this channel a little longer so we can bring it down to our current level of price action. And then what we'll do is make it a bit thicker so that we can emphasize its importance, right? Right now, you can see that we did respect this trend line significantly. And ideally, we get back into this little channel. And I'll make this one bigger as well, so that we can be clear. If we get back into this channel, guys, it is a sign of potential breakout, right? We might start breaking out of this channel because this downward sloping channel this way tends to want to break out bullish eventually as a back test to this ultimate breakdown that we've had out of this horizontal. So what we need to do is be very keen as to spot the divergence right now. There's no sign of bullish divergence on the 4-hour. So if you want a great entry, what you're going to have to look for is signs of bullish divergence on the 4-hour where the price action keeps on coming down. And I'm going to do this like this, okay, and I'm gonna make it a spider line so that we're very clear that this is a very hypothetical setup or a plan. Let's talk about it as a plan or an idea. If the price action keeps on coming down into this level of support, what we want to see is the RSI eventually, as the price action is coming down, for the price action to start the RSI, the momentum, to move upwards somehow, okay? Now, we could get 2 drives of bullish divergence, even the 3rd drive of bullish divergence before we actually see the price action move in the correct direction. So we got to be patient here, guys. Nothing happens really quickly, especially on larger time frames on the daily. On the 4-hour, what we're really going to try to do is try to snipe the bottom of this potential relief rally to the upside. The daily is fully reset here, guys. And if Bitcoin does, you know, start getting a bit of relief to the upside in the short term, you can expect a lot of these altcoins to rally up. And because Dimitra's setup right now is looking like it is trying to build a pivot point soon, it could be one of the top gainers in the next little while if Bitcoin on the 4-hour or even on the daily gets a bit of relief to the upside after this little dip, okay? It's very possible that we are range bound. You rewind my video and go check what I meant about Bitcoin. Bitcoin could get into its sideways consolidation while altcoins have the room to get bounces, because as Bitcoin shows strength and confidence in the market, people start to say, you know what, Bitcoin is going to hesitate here for a long time. Let me get my capital and put into something volatile. And then they start looking for setups. And of course, Dimitra right now is in a prime level to potentially start DCAing and expected to get that setup to the upside, whether it be a full-on, you know, a rally to the upside or at least a nice rally to the breakout point. Guys, there's some potential gains to be had here. So I think it's a good setup. I think it's a good opportunity. Of course, we're waiting for some real confirmations here, guys. This is a really early, and of course, staying one step ahead of the market is the way you're going to do it. What you're going to look for is W formations on the price action so that we can confirm this bullish divergence. Head and shoulders, cup and handles, all those kind of, you know, Adam and Eve, all those type of pivot point type of patterns before you start looking for entries. In fact, I would be looking for entries nice and slow in DCAing. Then we look for break of trend. Right now, to actually break trend, what we really need to do is start breaking above this top horizontal or diagonal. This top diagonal is the big trend, basically the trend within this structure, which is a downward sloping channel. Now, we could kind of hesitate around here and make another little, let's say, pattern, and we might want to break that structure first and then get back into this channel and then finally break out of the channel. So you can see there's a little bit of work there that needs to be done. But as you get those confirmations, break of trend, break of structure, and ultimately the bullish divergence that would be epic to see, guys, we have time to accumulate a nice position here at the bottom of the range. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If I've offered you any value here on the channel, do the channel a huge favor. Make sure that you slap that like button because it does really help out with the algorithm. And of course, guys, join me live at 7:30 Eastern tonight where we talk about crypto news and price action. And feel free to join that Discord. It's a great community, guys. Take care, have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.